Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. We got something a little bit different this week. We have not got the long form reviews that I usually do, or anything like the Heartstopper content that I did recently. We are doing a little roundup, a little wrap up, if you will, of what I've been reading this year. Most of them you will have seen on the channel. There's one which I'm not going to publish a review for because it was part of something else. That is a book that I was going to do as part of a big graphic haul. Graphic novel haul. That was it. Brain can't do words. And I ended up reading that one, and then I just wasn't feeling like doing a big haul collection thing, so I gave them back to the library, and I've now lost the footage for that one review, so that's not going to happen. And it's been a bit too long for me to do a decent review of it. I feel like you have to be a little bit fresh, at least, within the past couple of days, to be able to do a proper review, especially if you're like me and you don't take a huge amount of notes. So, and obviously there's one on here that was from Bad Red Book Club, and there are two that were supposed to be on there, but they haven't yet, and they will be on here soon enough. So I will kind of gloss over a little bit those ones, but one of them is one of my favourites for the year. So what we're going to do is, as you can tell, I'm trying to speak as quickly as possible because I'm trying to get myself in the right kind of energy, because I want this to be as quick fire as possible. So I want to go through the 43 books that I have read this year. Some of them are in perfect order. The ones for Bad Red Book Club are certainly not in the right order. Most of them are just like a few out of place, but the last one on the list is completely out of place. I just forgot to write it in. So, this is mostly in order, a little bit wrong, but let's go through it and we'll talk about which ones are my favourites, which ones I didn't like, but we're going to do it rapid fire in as few words as possible. Number 1, Crybaby by Mark Billingham. One of my favourites, wonderfully suspenseful and dealt with its themes really tactfully. Number 2, French Exit by Patrick Dewitt. Can't make me read this again, even if I can't fully remember it. It's just what I don't like about literary fiction. Number 3, The Wicker Light by Mary Watson. I can't see this without thinking of the spelling mistake I made when I first read it. However, from what I remember of the book, because it has been a few months since, I really enjoyed it. Some magical fun. Number 4, Anything Could Happen by Lucy Diamond. Another favourite of the year so far. Brilliantly charming, as is every book by Lucy Diamond. Number 5, Where the World Turns Wild by Nicola Penfold. A little bit younger than I would usually read, and it showed sometimes. However, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. A really good way to bring a message to younger audiences without, removing any nuance or subtlety. Number 6, The Broken Window by Jeffrey Deaver. Utter disappointment. Number 7, Cherry by Nico Walker. Another one of my favourites. Gave me kind of Trainspotting vibes because of the tone of it, being that it is a tough subject, also because addiction is one of those subjects. But there's occasional very gallows humour to it, and I thought it was great. And I don't think I did at the time, but I think back on it and actually I really enjoyed it. Number 8, The Dollmaker by Nina Allen. A guaranteed favourite. Absolutely beautiful. All sorts of messing with creepy tension and the folktale stuff, and just, bloody beautiful. Number 9, Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterica. Another favourite, absolutely wonderful, nuanced and subtle, and yet a very obvious message that it's getting across. Handled brilliantly well, and I still think about the simple beauty of the audiobook cover. Number 10, A Wolf for a Spell by Kara Sutton. A little bit young for me, but very enjoyable. Little baby Autumn would have enjoyed that even more than adult Autumn did. 11. Bubble. Multiple authors, graphic novel, great fun. Not the most memorable now, but I remember having a great time with it when I was reading it. 12. Frankenstein, a Junji Ito collection by Junji Ito, a firm favourite, and it did send me down a spiral. It sent me down a rabbit hole, and can't work out if I'm grateful to it. But I'm certainly glad that I read that one first, and not one of the ones that I'll get to a little later on. 13, Sleeping Beauties by multiple authors, I believe Stephen and Owen King. That was fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. If there is a next one, it definitely seemed like there was going to be. I don't think I would read it again if I find out there aren't any more in that series. 14. Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Anniversary Special. Multiple authors, if I remember rightly, including the McElroy brothers. It was silly fun. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, what do you expect? 15. One Punch Man Volume 1 by One and Yusuke Murata. Definitely a favourite. I need to read more of them. I didn't know what the tone was going to be going in, but I enjoyed it thoroughly once I got there. 16. An Unkindness of Ravens. Multiple authors. Graphic novel. Spooky little Hex Girls vibes. Absolutely wonderful. 17. Homesick Pilots. Multiple authors again. Graphic novel. And just, think about the character design from this and the art and everything. Beautiful to look at. Beautiful to read. 18. Atonement by Ian McEwan. Go read my Bad Reputation Book Club review of that. 19. Tomy by Junji Ito. And 20. Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Tomy is a favourite. Uzumaki is not. Now, that's not because Uzumaki is bad. That's just because Uzumaki is the reason that I physically feel wary about reading any more Junji Ito now. Whereas Tomy, absolutely wonderful. I could have swapped the order with Frankenstein and Tomy, and I would have still read more. If I'd have read Uzumaki first, I wouldn't have read any more. As you will notice, I haven't since. It was so much for me. 21. The Glittering Art of Falling Apart by Ilana Fox. The negative side of nostalgia a little bit. I really like that. No rose-tinted spectacles on it. A really wonderful playing with time and diaries. There's a little bit of suspension of disbelief going on with the way some of it worked, but either way, I enjoyed it very much. Next, 22, The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult, a definite favourite for sure. I enjoyed this so much. Again, playing with the idea of time and what ifs. There's a very similar feeling in a way to The Midnight Library, which was one of my favourites from last year, so it's not surprising that this has made it to one of my favourites so far this year. 23, Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. Not a favourite, but close. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a great introduction to Margaret Atwood. Maybe when I'm not feeling so rough about what's going on in the world right now, I will read The Handmaid's Tale. Next, 24, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. A favourite, one that I have been recommended and that I got for myself before I was recommended it. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely wonderful. Playing with tropes in the right way. Next, 25, 'Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas by Adam Kay. Really enjoyed this. Perhaps not as much as the first one, but it's still absolutely phenomenal. I love the way he uses his voice. I think he's just wonderful. Next, Love and Saffron by Kim Fay. Another favourite. Give me more stories about friendship that is not aimed at children. Like, loving your friends is not childlike as a quality. I think that's just shown so well in this book. 27, Wranglestone by Darren Charlton. Great gay stories, messing with the bury your gays trope in a very wonderful way, and working with zombies in a very unusual way that I thought was great. And, the not messing around, but like exploring the other when people are othered from society. absolutely fantastic. 28, Bridget Jones's Diary by Helen Fielding. This was a would-be Bad Reputation book club. It will get its own review at some point, but spoiler alert, despite the reputation it's gained, it's one of my favourites of the year so far. 29, The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. Might have been a favourite, but there was just some bits of it that didn't quite work for me, and that is just because I had to try and remember how Ponzi schemes worked. It was explained well enough, but, you know, sometimes things just don't work out to be your favourites, and that's okay. I still thoroughly enjoyed that book. Next, 30, Portillo's Hidden History of Britain by Marco Portillo. Great history, non-fiction, great stuff about trans medical history in the UK. Shame he's a Tory. 31, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. A favourite, for sure. Cried my way through reading this book. Absolutely phenomenal. 32, We'll Save the Galaxy for Food by Yahtzee Croshaw. Another favourite. Absolutely wonderful. Laughed my way through this book, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the sequel. 33, Solitaire by Alice Osman. Another favourite. I just thought it was wonderful, and there was only one part of it where I had to suspend my disbelief on the crazy, mystery shenanigans that were going on, and that was at the festival. But overall, absolutely wonderful, and lent a little bit of something to my reading of some later books. I'm sure you can't imagine what those would be. 34, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Another favourite. Again, a little bit of suspension of disbelief because you've got a child running around solving mysteries, but at the same time, it was thoroughly enjoyable, apart from the one thing, and that is a spoiler. But if you watch that video and watch the spoiler, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But bloody brilliant book, bloody brilliant twists, absolutely phenomenal, and you'll spot that all the books that my friends recommended are all now favourites of the year so far. I have good taste in friends, they have good taste in books. Next we have, speaking of me having good taste in friends, 35, Seraphine's Ghost by Josh Hunt. A definite favourite. Even if I did have to find out that my friend is remarkably good at writing sex scenes, he's also great at writing cute romance. And also, without reading this book, I wouldn't have a new bookshelf, because I wouldn't have taken my little trip to IKEA. So, that's always fun. 36, The Beautiful Dead by Belinda Bauer. Not particularly memorable, I'm going to be honest. 37, Heartstopper Volume 1 and Heartstopper Volume 2, both by Alice Osman, of course. Obviously favourites. You've watched the videos that I've done on Heartstopper at this point. I love the books, I love the series, absolutely phenomenal. 39, Dancing at the Pity Party, a Dead Mum graphic memoir by Tyler Fader. I didn't do the review of this one because this was the one that was part of all the going to be a graphic novel haul, but then I didn't have the haul and I lost all my footage, so I can't even go, I'll just put that up on its own. But it was really good, and I particularly enjoyed the use of panelling. There's unusual uses of it, not just the classic comic book or graphic novel style, like simple panelling with some overlapping. No, great use of layout and formatting. I thought that was great. 40 and 41, My Best Friend's Exorcism and Horror Store, both by Grady Hendrix. If you've just watched those videos, you will know I bloody love them. Favourites of the year so far. I need to read more Grady Hendrix. I have been told by one of my friends that they have one of his other books, so I'm going to be borrowing that at some point. Next, 42, Mainstream, multiple authors. I've just done the video on that, so you can pop over and watch it instead of listening to me. A mixed bag, shall we say. Of 43, I did read this actually a fair bit ago, but I just forgot to write it in. New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. And that wraps up the year so far. And in terms of New Moon, I don't think I have to say anything. If you've read it, you know. That's the year so far with my favourites and my not so favourites. So yeah, here's my wrap up. I'll do another one of these at the end of the year, and then I will probably do an actual breakdown in the way I always did with my written reviews. Go through things a little more in terms of my top 10 and that kind of thing. But generally, if I'm going to do a wrap up, it's going to be quick fire. I did do a longer form one, but I thought this is a bit more fun. I don't usually release short videos. This is probably still going to be like 30 minutes or something. I have no idea how long I've been sat here. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Something a little bit different, just to see how things are going. Thank you for being with me over the past 6 months of this channel. That still feels a little bit mad. I know we're a tiny little community here. There aren't too many of us, but I appreciate everybody who does watch my videos, and hopefully this little community will begin to grow, and you know, we all just get to sit here and talk about books, because that's what I like talking about. So I will be back here on Thursday with my review of Hamnet, hopefully. I mean, I'm a bit scared of giving actual days out now because of everything that's happened over the past couple of weeks with my data, and for a start just not showing up a couple of weeks ago. But I'll be back here on Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you then. So I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take care of yourselves. Right.